What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday we're discussing all things games. One of your hosts, Jarrell, with me is my co-host, my right-hand man, my ABXY, Arthur. We're back in the building, dude.
Yeah, we're back. Had a little bye week.
Yeah, a little bye week there. Had some performances that I did for a Halloween event known as Scalpers in the Inland Empire. Every year they tend to play a bunch of covers and whatnot. We dress up as skeletons. Some artists from the Inland Empire will get together and play. Pretty fun thing there, so that's kind of what kept us back a little bit. But other than that, before we get into the deep dive, kind of explaining how the show is going to be today, what's going on in your end, man? You still playing Far Cry 6? What's new?
Yeah, I'm playing Far Cry 6. I think I've completed the entire map, what I can do for now.
Oh, okay.
The only thing that's left for me is like story.
Yeah.
I'm kind of waiting for Coop, just because the story missions are really fun.
Oh.
And like to a point, any open world RPG, the farther in you go, the harder they get. So definitely went from just being a sneaky sniper god to like, okay, they have tanks, they have helicopters, they have planes.
Nice.
I need help. like all my equipment, definitely. I was like, because I mentioned how remember they got rid of levels and quote unquote abilities just by pure equipment and crafting.
Yeah.
So like my build went from like everything stealthy and everything offensive to like, let me have a power that lets me revive myself once every so often. Let me have a power where I heal myself instantly, and just go a little bit more defensive because I started dying a lot.
Oh shit.
And they had an update. It was like a 14 gigabyte update. They made it in the news. Speaking of stories, quick first one. So a while back, they announced what the DLCs are for the season pass, and they also announced what these free like events are going to be. The 3 events they announced were Danny Trejo's Machete is coming to Far Cry 6. There'll be a Rambo tie-in and a Stranger Things tie-in.
Okay.
But the thing is, I didn't experience it because they fixed it, but apparently they dropped the Danny Trejo Machete thing too early. That's
what I was reading on there. I didn't know what they meant by that.
Yeah, so I never got a chance to experience that. But he was already like out, and following that following that mistake, they dropped their roadmap that sometime in November. It just says November. Danny Trejo's coming out, and then the first DLC. Because remember, the DLC follows all the villains.
Yeah.
I never played Far Cry 3, but you know, if you're nothing but perfect things and amazing things about the game, the Far Cry 3 villain DLC. What was his name? Vaz.
Yeah.
He's the first one, and
nice.
he's dropping November. He's dropping November 2. Pretty much, it's gonna go like event DLC, event DLC, event DLC. Like nice. So it's like Dan Trejo, then Vaz, then Rambo, and then Pagan Man, and then Stranger Things, and then Joseph, the crazy white dude from Far Cry 5 Montana.
Oh yeah, wild
from Montana.
Yeah.
So that was that thing, but it sucks. 'Cause I never got to. I mean, I'm not really sad because it's not like they canceled it. It's like, oh, that was early. Whoops. He's absolutely still coming.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So if you guys are new here, welcome, first of all. Be sure to like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel. Always appreciate you talking about a bunch of video game stuff here, content. And also for the Gamers for Life podcast, you know, obviously the YouTube channel, we're building the YouTube bit by bit, but also if you want to just listen to us via audio, or if you want to check out our Twitch streams that Arthur manages, you know, to check that out, or just anything involving Gamers for Life, you can do that by going to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. That's the one-stop link for all of those things that you can check out if you'd like. And here at the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links of the time codes within the description of the episode. So if there's a certain segment or topic that we discuss on the show, be sure to go to those time codes in the description, either on the YouTube or on Spotify. I can't say if Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, has those links, but if you're on Spotify, you darn sure do that, or you have that opportunity to do that. So today is going to be a weird episode. There hasn't been a whole lot of huge news for Gamers for Life, or for us to cover, I should say, just because it's nearing the end of the year. So there's either stuff that's already been delayed, or there's just like snippets of updates of stuff. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be kind of a rapid fire show, rapid fire of just different topics. So we're just going to have an assortment of topics here. I don't know how long this episode is going to be, but we'll see. So just starting off, I should say, even though Arthur and I, we really don't care for this particular this particular franchise anymore, just because of what it is now. But Call of Duty Vanguard, it came out today, technically, on November 5th. And just kind of looking at the Metacritic score, because even though this isn't entirely accurate to the actual like truth rating of how the game is, it's at least more than just one website. Looks like it's got a 77 here on the Metascore. No user reviews, which is kind of interesting.
That is weird.
Isn't that weird? Because usually, like, I know sometimes that can be like overly exaggerated as far as like zeros or threes. This game's ass.
Yeah, Metacritic. I feel like Metacritic is like a flip of a coin of where you go for like honest reviews or review bombs.
Yeah,
it's you know what I mean, either that's like I said, either a game's getting legitimately reviewed or a reviewed bomb for X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And even those review bombs are justified, quote unquote, by actual gameplay stuff or random like behind the scenes, because the developers were crunched, because bonuses weren't given out, or like I said, not entirely game related things happening beyond the scenes, things getting review bombed.
Yeah, definitely. So I find that to be interesting. Kind of weird, but interesting. But yeah, so that's kind of what you're looking at as far as for Call of Duty. I guess it's decent. If you
don't like it, wait 12 months. There's another one.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
exactly. I mean, a lot of people, they just play Call of Duty for the zombie stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
And then the hackers just kind of go to town on these games. They're just really They're just playground for hackers, I feel like. So. I know they announced the next year's Call of Duty is going to be Modern Warfare, because there's like another Modern Warfare series, which is really annoying. There's a Modern Warfare 2. They're going to do a Modern Warfare 2 for next year. There's already a Modern Warfare 2, but this is a separate series, so that's cool, I guess. But yeah, we just had to acknowledge its existence, because games, yada yada.
Oh, and like the E3 thing.
Yeah.
They're still dropping. They're still hiding Blizzard with the company.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know what's weird too? I was talking about this with Preston on the Music Buds podcast. After you check this out, be sure to check out the Music Buds via audio. New episode there. I just talk about with Preston. There was a random, the verses where they have with like the different artists. So they had a versus. The legendary Locks of Dipset one they had.
Yep.
So they had one where it wasn't necessarily a versus. It was just them playing Call of Duty. So it was like Lil Jon, Lil Tecca, and like a bunch of other artists just playing Call of Duty. But it was random. It was the day that we recorded. And I was like, this is random as fuck. I was like, just to advertise the game like coming out, I guess. That's weird. So I thought that was super. Yeah, I thought it was super weird and poorly marketed. And then part of me is just like, bro, like, why are you wasting Lil Jon's time with like this bullshit? You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. But I just thought that was really odd. But yeah, so like I said, this is a rapid fire show here today. So there's a couple things that we want to talk about. What's the next thing on your list that you want to discuss?
It's on paper. I don't know how I feel about this, but it just shows again of just how I can't think of the word like not confirmed, but like how not set in stone this industry is when it comes to you see games, you hear about games, you see trailers for games. It came out that there was another canceled game via Take-Two that cost the company roughly over $53 million. Ooh. So we didn't know anything about the game, and it was making headway. And a lot of the thumbnails for this were Mafia 3, so I thought it was gonna be a Mafia remake or a Mafia thing. Yeah. But the reason that a lot of thumbnails have Mafia is because we know about it was by the same developer of Mafia. And then so remember, Take-Two is a parent production company that owns 2K. That owns 2K as well as Rockstar. Yeah. So the one thing I will say to this is people's responses, even to my own, because to be fair, the thumbnail I saw had Bully.
Oh,
remember had Rockstar's Bully,
Part of me's like,
as a thumbnail.
How can you cancel that? That would have been amazing.
I thought about reading an article of why Bully 2 was canceled.
Yeah.
No, but of course, to a point, people linked, people, of course, just immediately linked Take-Two with Rockstar. It's by far their biggest producer.
Right.
And so it costed the company $53 million. And the thing is, it just reminds me of just how many games get canceled all the time. And like how much this costs. So just for a comparison of $53 million to the gaming world, or at least to Take-Two, on average, their quarterly income is $985 million. So they're $15 million shy of making $1 billion every quarter. Which in previous episodes, whenever I say a company lost $1 billion, I'm like, yeah, they lost 3 months of income.
Yeah.
I'm like, $1 billion, yes, is a lot, but when you make it, 4 times a year,
it's kind of insane.
Yeah, and so we know nothing really. We don't know too much about this game. There was no title. It was a codename Volt. It was going to be a Destiny style loot shooter.
This game that was canceled.
This game, the game that was canceled. So they say it was like a Destiny styled loot shooter made by the people of Mafia. So I'm like, picture like Mafia, but in the future loot shooter. I'm like, that sounds kind of fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like the loot shooter, to a point, I feel like the loot shooter game is oversaturated. But I would also argue, like 90% of that is Ubisoft, and something we mentioned last time.
True.
Something we mentioned last episode, because of Tom Clancy. They just dropped Tom Clancy's name on everything. Yeah. Like, Division 2, Wildlands, Breakpoint.
Check out that game clip if you get the chance. We have a pretty good conversation about that.
Yeah. It's like Hunt for October, such a good tactical thing. This has this. Oh, does he have a gun? Fuck it, Tom Clancy.
Yeah, he would do that.
Yeah, Tom Clancy would have guns.
So I guess it's kind of like talking about this Take-Two Mafia-ish thing.
Yeah.
I find interesting, one, just because of, everyone and their mother is waiting for GTA 6, right? Take-Two's they're very defensive on like, well, if they want to announce it, they want to announce it. So they're very much like kind of protecting them as far as just like the sanctity of them working on the game. But this is funny because it shows like, to me, it just shows like, okay, like there's some focus for GTA 6, but I don't know where they are in the process, especially if, this is Take-Two. So granted, this is Take-Two. They're going to make many games within the process before GTA 6 releases. But I do think it's funny that this is canceled. It's like, oh, you guys are working on this to GTA 6. You know what I mean? As far as like, just when it comes to just like the support it's getting or whatever. But I digress. But I guess another thing is that, I always wanted, and maybe this was that thing that maybe they're trying to cancel. But you remember LA Noire?
Hell yeah.
It came out back in the day. Dude, that game, like, it wasn't a perfect game, but it introduced a lot of stuff that was kind of like groundbreaking.
I feel like if you look at Rockstar's, look at Rockstar's list of production games. LA Noire was them really stretching their legs of what they can do. Yeah. Because in a good way, in a great way, I'll argue, especially with the remakes coming out that we'll talk about after this too. Yeah. Is LA Noire was like the first time that really stretched beyond just the quote unquote Rockstar normal, again, which is a good normal. Yeah. Of, open world RPG with all these amazing missions, amazing characters, voice actors, script, to just making more of a story driven, interactive, like a really fucking good cop game. Yeah. Like detective game. Like when people were telling me, because I will say LA Noire was the one game I missed. Just again, if there's 4 games coming out the same month, I'm gonna buy 1, maybe 2 max. So I think for me, LA Noire just got pushed to the side. Yeah. But
if it's super cheap, buy it. Sometimes it's like $5 on sale.
But some of the mechanics and playthroughs are, I've seen of like,
they're really difficult.
Accused, and it's like the game looks difficult. Like it's not just like a classic. I mean, and yes, you can pause the game, shoot 1 million people, save it, and be like, okay, now I'm done for the night. It's like a rule of before you're done playing a Rockstar game for the night, you just gotta kill like 1,000 cops and be like, okay, they finally killed me. I should fall asleep.
Like there was like I love this. I loved the whole literal detective notion. So you go to a crime scene, you're talking to the guy. Oh yeah, this lady's throat was cut. You're checking for clues. You're talking to people. And you have some shootouts. I wish they had more of like an arrest mechanic versus just like shooting somebody. That was kind of like one of the repetitiveness of the game. And then also just as far as like having the world be a little more lively. I know the Mafia games got a lot of criticism for that, where it's like the game looks great, there's a pretty good story, but when it comes to the gameplay mechanic, it's just something pretty to drive through. And I think LA Noire was kind of it kind of got subjected to that. And even the music was amazing too. Like you had like really amazing professional jazz musicians and stuff that made this amazing soundtrack for the game.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to just like the gameplay and stuff, like there's some really legendary stuff, just like identifying like if someone's lying and stuff like that, and choosing it, and seeing like eye contact and like
Doubt.
doubts, and just like calling people out on their shit. Like there's some really fun fucking things, and obviously it's a period piece. But I feel like that game, you know, I know there was a lot of also I think there was some stuff behind the scenes of like some really like hardship, just kind of like employee hardship stuff happening in the background as well, which sucks. But yeah, I just think that game had so much potential, especially for a sequel. So it would have been interesting if this potentially maybe was that, but you know, who knows what this thing would have been. But it just kind of brings me thinking about LA Noire. It's like, man, like there was some good stuff on LA Noire, you know, when I think about it.
Yeah, again, I can't speak to it. That's like in one of the many RPGs that's like on my to-do list.
Yeah.
But things just keep coming out. And
there's too much shit.
And on our drill, you know, transition. Speaking of things coming out,
hey, that's pretty good.
it was pretty good. Keeping Take-Two and Rockstar in the news. A couple updates with the Definitive Edition, which again, I'm happy about the
Grand Theft Auto.
The Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition remakes, which again, it's a bundle of GTA 3. I thought it was before. I thought, you know, back when we were talking about...
Oh, you thought 4 was in there?
Back when we talk about, like, hey, give me these reasons when we were bitching about... constructively, vulgarly bitching about the delay of GTA 6 or the lack of it, which I still agree is rightfully so. I did say, hey, give us these remakes. I'll be happy. I am. Yeah. But I thought they were going to remake, just because in terms of timing of release dates...
Sure.
I would have thought they would have done 4... Vice City and San Andreas, because those were kind of the games that released in that era.
That's logical reasoning, honestly. Because I mean, GTA 3. I mean, there's a lot. I think it came out a month after September 11th. It was October 2001.
Yeah, it's
but yeah, like I mean, for when it came out, I mean, obviously it changed gaming as far as open world environment. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily need a remake on it, so that makes logical sense as far as like, well, it would have been fine if we just did 4 Vice City and fucking, you know, San Andreas.
Because those were the 3 games we got in that time span.
Yeah,
like even like so, you know, multiple times, you know, you've heard me mention, you know, just for those that, you know, I get it. If you still love GTA 5, it's like it is on paper, it is a fun game. I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
But again, just for, you know, comparison. You know, we say why people say GTA 6 is taking so long is because in the same time span GTA 5 has been out, we got 4 Vice City and San Andreas.
Yeah.
So on paper, it was interesting to hear that the remake bundle is excluding 4 and bringing in 3, which I'm still happy about. 3 was an amazing game because I never played the original ones, the first 2, but apparently, the first 2 were top down.
Yeah.
Were top down car stuff, and part 3 was a revolutionary for its time of the third person, you know, following the character for that franchise.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, and Rockstar wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for Grand Theft Auto 3. So the more I think about it, I do think it is a good call to put Part 3 as that remake bundle.
Yeah.
But the news we have, the news we have around it now is when you can preload it, pre-install it. So to a point. You know, that's back when I first got my Xbox One, that was one of the biggest updates for me. And I know, of course, PC and, you know, PlayStation could do this now. It's kind of a norm, but I still think it's an amazing feature of, you know, you can buy the game, pre-install it. So the second it's available, for, you know, whatever day, 9:01 p.m. Pacific time, bam, your game loads.
Right.
So looks like November 6th is when the PS4 is able to start preloading it.
Nice.
And it says as of right now, I don't know if this will change.
Yeah.
It says there will be no preload for PC.
Oh my God. I'm so mad.
So,
why?
and now mind you, I mentioned November 6th as the preload date for PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
But November 11th is the release date.
Okay.
I don't know why they would do that. I mean, again, as a guy that doesn't have PC, our Rockstar, because this, to a point, this happened with GTA 5, didn't it? Didn't like the PC launch happen like almost a year after launch?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's very true. It happened a year after.
So Rockstar,
that was really weird. And I mean, I was a console guy at that time, so I was like, sucks to be you guys.
Sucks to be you guys.
So now I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm back in that fucking seat.
You gotta use your pinky to hit X. I'm using controller. My pinky ain't gotta do shit. I still always argue that when people are like, hey, why don't you play on PC? Just upon face value, gotta be real. I'm not as good as I am on PC. It's like, why? Well, I'm told when you play PC, all your fingers need to do stuff. And I gotta be honest, man, my pinky and ring finger are not used to putting in work. They're just used to grip. And that's it.
No, for sure. I mean, in all fairness, you can plug in an Xbox controller.
I'm just playing Xbox.
I know. No, it's a fair point. Yeah, I know in general, as far as like accuracy, they say PC like it's the best, but who fucking cares? So that's interesting, and it's disappointing, but it's interesting.
No, and also again, I will say and then again, not to a point more PC console stuff, but it just is news. As right now, San Andreas remake will be on Game Pass console.
Yeah, not Game Pass PC, right?
Yeah. Now they haven't said no. They haven't said no. Just all that dropped was San Andreas will be available day one, console Game Pass.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it's never coming to PC Game Pass. It'll be delayed. I assume a delay because, like we said, Rockstar and PC don't have the smoothest of histories together.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Do you think?
You think that would fucking change with Game Pass, but they're really. Yeah, I guess so.
I would laugh if we get it on cloud before PC. You could play it on
That's true.
You can play on your phone before your PC.
Yeah. Well, or just using the cloud cloud through the web browser instead of it being on the software service.
What is it? The streaming system. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So that literally is probably what's gonna fucking happen, which is stupid, but whatever. Interesting. So one thing I guess we can briefly talk about. I know in general we're not super I guess fans of this series, but there was 15-minute gameplay. What was the title of that game?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. So yeah, the one that George R.R. Martin, he said he wrote one page for or whatever he wrote. There is about 15 minutes of gameplay that they released and shown, and we watched a little bit of it before we recorded, and I guess just to give my 2 cents, it looks pretty good. It looks good. It does definitely reminds me of a Dark Souls vibe. I believe they said there's going to be some cooperative play as well, some PvP stuff. And one thing that I find really interesting about the game is the designs of the bosses. I really like how these bosses look. I think it's really fucking dope. So, and so that really caught my eye in general, as far as just seeing how the design is. Of the bosses that you're fighting against, some pretty wild bosses. Obviously, I think it's an open world, more one of those things where it's open world, but it's linear at the same time. So I'm excited to see more about it. We're just kind of waiting on more because they said after the gameplay, as far as there's going to be more release, we can't really tell you anything more than that, which I kind of respect, because one, it shows, hey, we are working on stuff. Two, we're not committing to a date that we can't meet. So I respect that. But what are your thoughts?
I'm liking it. I saw the 15 minutes gameplay and definitely liked what I saw. Like I was talking to you about it, is I could definitely see, at least in this 15 minutes, you could definitely see hard where all the From Software stuff is. The makers of the Dark Souls series and Chloris, Blood. The Sony exclusive.
Bloodborne.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Might have been Sony exclusive. I didn't play it, so I forgot.
It's all right. We had alley-oop.
Yeah.
we totally alley-ooped that.
Of course, the Dark Souls makers and the makers of Bloodborne from Software. Yeah. Like I said, with the bosses, you could definitely see what that is. Because I think that's an extra thing that's made their games so successful. Is yes, there's a difficulty learning curve. Yes, there's of course, without the amazing gameplay, but it is very memorable bosses, because it's it's a dragon and it flips itself in half. It's a mouth. It's a giant mouth being disguised as a dragon.
Right, exactly. It's oh shit, yeah.
And again, when it comes to I don't say celebrity, but just more famous writers, like like Del Toro being involved in PT and the whole thing, blah blah blah. And of course, R.R. Martin dipping his feet in this. I wonder, like I said, what to a point how much she was involved in. Okay, I will say this: if there's like a cutscene or a dialogue scene where two people are speaking in a garden about backstabbing somebody, that was George R. R. Martin. That was George R. R. Martin.
That's absolutely his bag. Yeah.
If two people are speaking in a garden about backstabbing somebody else, okay, cool. I can see that. I can see that script. That script day was not from software.
That's hilarious. No, yeah, because I remember an article I was reading, and it was saying like, I sent him something, and that was a while ago. They haven't really reached back since, so they just work on the gameplay from there. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm curious to see what else is, I'm curious to see more, and then when it comes out, because I'm actually dip my feet into that one when that one comes out. It's just exciting that it's a real thing.
Yeah, because this game has definitely become notorious with delays, or unknowns of is it exist, will it exist, and like we mentioned to the previous story before, Take-Two canceling their one game. Again, cancel games is very common in this industry. I still miss what would have been a sequel to Prey. Now I know you're saying, oh, Prey came out from Bethesda. True, but that's not the game we saw. If you go back during E3s, there was a different Prey trailer that dropped that would have put you as it was a sequel in the sense that it was tied in the same world as the first Prey, where it's aliens, like I said, loosely tied in. It's in the same world, and that's about it. But you'd have been like a U.S. bounty marshal hunting aliens, all this crazy stuff, and then that got X'd, or that premise got X'd, and then the new Prey came out. Still successful, but I was still hoping to seeing of what could have been in that.
Yeah.
So that's why with many Elden Ring fans, like, is it canceled? What's going on? It had to be, if it could, we got an update. It's going to exist. We got a delay. Okay, a delay doesn't mean canceled.
Right, exactly.
It could have been canceled, but it didn't. And as of right now, the tentative date, that should be the last because it's coming up quick, February 25th.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
So celebrate Valentine's Day and then Elden Ring.
And then also, I guess, kind of going back into time 2 months prior to that, we have Halo Infinite. There's some information that they dropped as far as a couple things. One is the Battle Pass, costing $10. It looks like, according to 343, and they talked a little bit as far as how it's going to work when it comes to the Battle Pass. So let me read some of this. Let me see. This is according to Games Radar. Shout out to Games Radar. Let's see what they say here in this very short paragraph. It says here, in an interview with IGN, Halo Infinite's head of design, Jerry Hook, and lead progression designer, Chris Blom, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, sir, spoke in detail on how the game's Battle Pass works. Early on in the conversation, the duo explained that the thinking behind the session to make the game's Battle Pass a permanent thing that never expires, and in doing so confirmed its price. Bloom said that it would be ludicrous for 343 to expect people to pay only Halo Infinite. That truth, combined with an awareness of the unhealthy habits certain battle passes can encourage, is what led to the team to decide on a permanent battle passes as a way to avoid player burnout. So Bloom said that we want players to feel healthy and come back because they're excited to, not because they feel pressured to complete expiring content. We wanted to be able to say, hey, look, if you put in $10, you keep that $10. Added Hook. While Halo Infinite's Battle Passes never expire, you'll only be able to have one active at a time. However, you can switch between progressing through them whenever you want without restriction. Roughly every quarter of each Battle Pass will have legendary cosmetic, which will either be related to a character's story or customization item with the special attributes. And that's about what they say about that, end quote. I find that interesting. And it doesn't seem too toxic. What do you think about that, Arthur?
The fact it's only $10, and I'm not paying for the game on face value because, of course, it's only in Game Pass.
Correct.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Also, also they mentioned player burnout. Also, the fact that it's not going to expire. Yeah. Because, it's like for us, the adults.
Yeah.
They're adulting. It's seriously. Like that classic joke of, need job to pay for games. No time to play games because job. So
that was literally my entire fucking GameStop career, bro. My brother played all the games that I brought home for free. Like,
yeah. And so, for that not to expire, that's really cool because to a point, like I don't play too many like PvP Battle Pass E type games.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves would only be like the only one right now, and to a point, it almost is almost is like disheartening or discouraging for me to like jump in when I know like, oh, those last three things look really cool. I'm like, I know I'm not gonna get those, so why try?
Oh, interesting.
So I do like how they like quietly, I would argue constructively, jabbed other battle passes. Battle passes are just encouraging like, oh, you didn't play this game every day during the month of October, man. No, fuck you.
Right.
No last reward for you. Oh, it's because it's a battle pass. You'll never have it. You'll never have it again. And it's like
that's it. That's interesting because I'm kind of not. I guess I'm not hip to battle passes because I just don't buy them. But I think you make a really interesting point as far as for having that be a thing and have it be. I mean, I would say that's definitely a toxic thing. Where it's like, oh, because I'm not at my fucking game console every day because I have a life, or I have a working life, I should say. That I get punished for that. It's like, that's not fair. You know what I mean? So that you make a really good point. And yeah, I do. I will give 343 credit for that. I still give them shit for not having fucking co-op campaign day one. Mm-hmm. But at least when it comes to this battle pass stuff, I will give them credit for this. I think this is smart. And I really hope that they're busting their ass to have co-op campaign out earlier than fucking 6 months from the release.
I know. One thing I will say, speaking campaign, like Elden Ring, we did get a new trailer for the campaign.
Oh shit!
And there was like and there were people, of course, that did like the side by side comparisons.
Yeah.
The game, of course, does look polished. The infamous Craig, look like an N64 game.
Yeah.
he got his update.
Okay. Nice.
And I was pleased with it.
Yeah.
Again, still disheartened that it's not cooperative till 6 months after launch.
Yeah.
But was I happy with the trailer? Am I happy with how the game's looking? And yes. Because like we said, it's like the game never looked, I would argue, horrible, but because it just a polish. And to the people that did that, to the people that did the Craig screenshot thing, like I get that, but to another point, for me, it's like when it comes to games, mainly movies as an example, because I watch a lot of like CGI artists react.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of like top 10 movies with quote unquote unknown bad CGI, or like it's bad CGI, we just don't know it. And it usually comes with motion.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, for the sake, whether it's time, money, staffing, or both, movies a lot of time sacrifice polishing CGI in motion, because it's in motion you really don't see it. So now of course, this being 2021, this is a gaming industry, or the actual, of course, like movies, games have that frame by frame trailer look. People look at it. So I would argue to a point, what I really have noticed, Craig, like the OG Craig, for looking horrible, not really. But am I now happy with the way everything looks now with the polish? Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's looking better.
Yeah. So, but again, I argue when it comes to movies, and to a point, games. I am the simple man. I'm the classic, like the Russell Crowe question. Are you entertained?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm still mad that they're making a sequel to Gladiator, by the way.
What?
Yeah, did you hear about that?
Spoiler, he fucking dies. What? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, they're making it. I don't know if it's a prequel or a sequel, but yeah, Ridley Scott said that he's been working on it and it's coming out next year or something like that.
Does
not need a sequel.
I was like, Ridley Scott, you good for money, bro? Yeah. Like, what? Did the
Seriously,
IRS?
you can make mad other shit. Like, why fuck with Gladiator? Like, Gladiator's perfect. Like it's a perfect film.
Ridley Scott? Like,
yeah.
We're still missing a true tie-in between the last Aliens movie and the new Aliens movie, but okay, Gladiator.
Or a good Aliens versus Predator, anyway.
Yes.
Because they all suck.
It's like Alien versus Predator. Hey, since we're on the tangent now, that Alien Prometheus and Covenant was made to be a trilogy. We never got the last one.
Oh, yeah?
We never got it.
Yeah.
And
like, write that, bro.
It's like, okay, Prometheus, okay, Covenant, take a break. Gladiator. Like, I will say this though, I kind of want to look forward to a prequel, only because the opening like 15 minutes of that war scene was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Yeah,
but it will be weird to see. I wonder if they have to do aging technology, because speaking of aging, it's been how long since the last Gladiator?
Oh man!
Spoiler: Russell Crowe is human. He's aged.
He's put on a few pounds too.
I mean, like, that's not against the guy. It's like, I would argue when it comes to continuity, unlike Harrison Ford, he'll be willing to cut his hair.
Yeah, 2000, so 21 years. Holy shit, that's wild.
Oh my god, that's when.
Wow.
That's when one of my friends was born.
Well, speaking of depressing news, so another thing on Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of talking about this.
Yep.
There's a collector's edition that they announced, and you said in seconds it sold out?
So Walmart, so this is on .esports.com.
Yeah.
Just the article I found. Walmart quietly listed the Halo Infinite Collector's Edition, sells out in seconds.
Oh my god.
So the Halo Collector's Edition via Walmart is priced at $169.99 plus tax.
Yeah.
It has the Energy Sword desk lamp, a steel case, what is it? And fucking an ad came up. Yeah, I love it. The plasma pistol replica bottle opener. That's cool.
Yeah.
A set of 5 patches, 2 lanyards, a UNSC charm, ID wallet, mini art book, desktop portfolio, and the developer note, and it's gone.
That sucks, because that's a decent collector's edition, especially with the bottle opener. I'm like, that's swag.
That's why I paused on the bottle opener. I'm like, okay. Of course, this being the new world, you will see it on eBay for $300.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Fucking, it's not, we talked about a while back, both during recording and off recording, of this scalper shit needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Because you and I, you guys put it this way, you and I were, we worked in the industry. We can say that.
Yeah.
This wasn't a thing. Like, this was not a thing. Like,
not nearly like today.
And so two things. I would argue, my argument is one, COVID, which has forced online shipping to shoot to everyone's now first option.
Yeah.
There weren't safety nets put in place. There weren't long-term thoughts, because why think long-term if you're making money? They don't fucking give a shit.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, how long will this scalper thing be reality until it starts to get fixed?
Yeah.
Like, again, even the Xbox mini fridge, like, that was $100. That was not advertised as a collector's item. That was just, hey, we made a fridge, $100, super reasonable price.
Because they didn't say that it was like, they didn't say it was like a limited thing, like never again, right? They were just like, let's just make a mini fridge.
Just make a fridge. And that's how they quietly ended their fucking E3 showcase. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, like, that's awesome.
I would argue, if you're, for a gaming company, loosely, for Microsoft to make, a mini fridge, and to hear like, how much is it priced, and to hear $100, that just does not ring like super limited one time only thing. That's a fair, reasonable fucking price.
Absolutely.
But the tangent, not tangent, but to keep this going with other like scalper shit. So as we talked about, that one Nintendo showcase that had no fucking business being that good.
Yeah.
Was when they announced that the online that now Nintendo's gonna have an online catalog, like what they call it, like Nintendo Online Plus or something. I forget the name of it.
Yeah. Will
now have Sega games and N64 games in their catalog, along with a showcase to quote unquote truly experience or to immerse yourself in nostalgia and play the games as they were built to play.
Yeah.
And Nintendo is launching Bluetooth wireless N64 and Sega controllers.
Yeah.
And IG, as here we go on IGN.com, Nintendo Switch N64 controllers seemingly sold out until 2022. And like, mind you, holidays is around the corner. So these scalpers are putting in fucking double the work to get this shit. And I mean, and then just another headline, just to kind of, for me to tag all this in, again from IGN.com.
Yeah.
They're usually my go-to. Jumbo Jets airlifting PS5 stock into the UK in time for Christmas. So I was joking with Drell.
Way to go, Santa.
I was like joking with Drell. It's like, yo, is it so bad we're doing like Operation Double Drop with fucking PS5s?
Silver bells, yeah. It's wild, bro. Like, you would never hear this sentence come out of my mouth, but the government needs to get involved on these scalpers, bro. Like, it's out of control. They have to have some type of legislation as far as for how we sell these, how these products get sold now. Like, to me, I feel like the only positive thing about this is that for when it comes to brick and mortar stores, this kind of can potentially elongate their status, because it's like, look, I feel like for some things they just got to be bought in the store because of scalpers. You know what I mean? And then have like state law things as far as you can only buy this like one per person or whatever. And like this isn't like my policy. This is a state law policy. And then just have other restrictions around it. I feel like that's the only real way you're going to be able to stop a little bit. Obviously, we're going to have some scalpers come in the store, you know, and like one person buy one off each credit card or whatever the fuck. But there's only so much you can do on that. But not everything will be fucking sold out in seconds.
Because it's very true. And because like we were saying, you know, back when in-store purchasing was the norm, online purchasing hadn't really blown up yet at the time we were working. That was like the number one de facto way to stop, you know, scalpers. Yeah. You know, even back when iPhone blew up and you see people literally all over the world lining up to buy an iPhone, easiest way to prevent that. Oh, there's line at the door. Cool. Like one per customer per family per group. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. They just, and again, so it's like, you know, again with holidays coming up, you know, I wonder if the report's going to be like how much of a dollar stamp is this affecting not even the gaming industry, the quote unquote like the shopping industry. Yeah. Because like I said, scalping is not limited to, of course, entertainment. So, you know, I have friends that cosplay. I have friends that do cosplay, and there's like new makeup or something like that. People like name us like, you know, look at something where the supply and demand is like going to hit hard. Scalpers are there.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking, you know, again, makeup, you know, the makeup industry, you know, shoes, you know, any bit as sneakerheads know, there's definitely scalpers out there. And so it's like, again, so it's because this isn't limited to like one thing. It's affecting the quote unquote, like I would argue the shopping industry. Yeah. Yeah. Again, to the point of like how long until, or if needed when, the government steps in and be like, hey man, you know, this is a X billion dollar industry. Yeah. Regardless of what example you use, to a point, and it's like this is and it's affecting this much. Fucking help.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right, man. Yeah, something's got to be done. Got to be done with this. This is getting out of control. What's next on the rapid fire list that we can discuss?
Good news for me. Oh, I don't want to say that selfishly. Good news for a lot of people. Well, I don't know, just because like, you know, again, the scalper shit, it just really pissing me off. Like I'm still mad about the fridge. Like I said, it wasn't.
I would be too, bro.
You know, like
crazy.
It was just like a cool. It was like an internet thumbs up, high five moment. I was like, oh, by the way, guys, here's a gaming fridge. Fuck yeah! And then, and it's again the second fuck yeah being I would argue a reasonable price. Yeah. To be like, nah, it's scalped. Like, God, fuck, dude. Like, a fridge?
It's fucked up, bro.
But so again, so in better news, Battlefield 2042 is getting a 10-hour trial for EA Play and Game Pass members.
Nice.
Try before you buy is the headline from IG.com regarding this.
I remember I saw something random where the CEO or someone was saying as far as like the response has been pretty good so far. Mm-hmm. So that's positive. Oh, that's right. I wanted to talk to you about this too. I'm glad we're on this. So it's so funny how we're nearing the end of the year, right? And then a lot of shit is either delayed, pushed back, not coming out, or out, and people are like, meh. Yeah. Like Back for Blood. But when it comes to Battlefield, this is the game that I'm most excited for.
Oh yeah.
Like, out of all the games that have come out this year, this is the one where I'm like, I am actually really hyped for. I'm worried about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm worried about it from the hackers, from the scalpers, from everyone and then just as far as the game being, you know, because it's online, right? Like I have a phobia now of buying games that are only online multiplayer. We talk about Anthem back in the day. It's like, $60. Let's play Anthem. Cool. We buy Anthem. We play it. Hey, like there's like nothing to do after.
Yeah, I remember we played Anthem for like 5 days and we're like, we're done.
Yeah, like, and I was pissed because I was thinking about not getting it, and then like I was talking to my my neighbor Jeff. Shout out to Jeff.
We had a mutual friend that was like, nah, get it. And again, to be fair, it was fun.
We all got duped,
for 5 days.
For five
it was fun for 5 days.
Yeah, and then Outriders came around, and I would say Outriders is a different situation because Outriders is a good game.
Yeah.
But I just think the water ran out, dried out pretty quickly after a while. Hey, it's the cat.
Yep.
And I was just like, damn, like that was fun while it lasted, but I kind of feel like my $60 wasn't fully like legitimized. But anyway, it's another conversation. But when it comes to Battlefield 2042, like it looks great, it plays great multiplayer wise, but I'm just worried about the future of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even with I think they fixed the Punk Buster thing when it came to, hackers being able to go around that to continue to hack. I think they built up an additional wall on top of that wall. Mm-hmm. But what do you think? I mean, do you think we're going to, do you think we're going to have another situation of that? Because this isn't coming to Game Pass, right? People have to buy this.
Yeah, this game is not in Game Pass.
Okay.
There's benefits to having Game Pass via this 10-hour trial.
Yeah.
But I think with the longevity of the game, I'm okay. I'm not as nervous as most, only because I think if you list some of the top major like PvP online games out there, Battlefield consistently is known for having, Battlefield 5 being a huge fucking asterisk. Battlefield's known for having good content that lasts. Like I told you, we still hop in Battlefield 1 now. Because and for a lot of players, Battlefield 4 servers spiked again because I'd argue of their most recent games, this will be the closest to Battlefield 4. Surprise, not World War 1, fucking horses, old school tanks and fucking single shot rifles. So that's the thing. It's like that's the reason why I'm not as nervous of this, just because for me, again minus Battlefield 5, but my issues with that, I feel like they've already addressed with the marketing and the style of the game. This is back to its roots. Battlefield is back to its roots of just fuck it, fun, put in a game because it's fucking awesome. Oh, yeah. there's an electric sandstorm tornado. We don't give a fuck. Battlefield. Wow. like, oh, you have a tank? Well, meep. I have a little fucking tuk tricycle. Let's go. The second I saw the trailer, I'm like, that's gonna be our vehicle. Like, when it comes to squad up, because that's something Battlefield's known for. And for games that have this, don't ever fix it. I love games where your character can jump on a vehicle, and for whatever reasons, they're like magnetized to the vehicle and it just goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some games you fall off, but other games that don't have that, where you jump on Battlefield's known for that. You jump on the vehicle. So it's like, there's like footage of like 10 guys just sitting on top of a tank as it drives. Yes, keep that. Don't get rid of it. So again, it's like in Battlefield, or my example, Battlefield 1, you can have the motorcycle with the sidecar, and there's like 4 people just jumping on top of you to fit, and you're just hauling ass. You're hauling ass into like a giant tank, and no one gives a shit. So it's things like that. I think that make me less nervous for it. I would argue, potentially an early short-term obstacle they need to fix. That's clearly like we mentioned, scalpers. That's a new norm. Becoming a new norm for gaming is hackers. And again, that's the thing I was talking about. Like Battlefield, Battlefield doesn't need hackers. There's so much. Like you're playing like Fortnite or Call of Duty. There's only one thing to do: shoot bad guy. That's it. That's the game.
Yeah.
But in Call of Duty, you can fucking build sandbags. You can build sandbags. You can build walls. You can fucking fly a jet. You can fly a helicopter. You can fucking drive a jet ski. You can drive a boat. If there's horses, you can drive a horse. There's all this shit to do.
There's a lot of crazy shit. There's a lot of shit to do. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So, I mean, because for me, I'd argue for games like for battle royale games, I'm just putting it home in one category real quick. But for battle royale games and other PvP online multiplayer games, it's like for me, from a 2 point outside looking in, because I'm done with Call of Duty, I don't play battle royale. It's like the point of the game is the win. I get it. That's fine. But for me and my friends, the point of Battlefield is to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you do good along the way, I mean, if you happen to win along the way, awesome. But at the end of the day, I can say I did all this shit, and it's like that match was awesome. Again with Battlefield 1, it's like, hey, Arthur, what are you doing? I'm sniping people from on top of a blimp. That sounds fun. It is fun. Spawn on me, join, and do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And then and as I mentioned, another reason why Battlefield to a point encourages that, because you get so many points for playing the objective. So I still take screenshots to this day of like, oh, I'm like top 3 with 5 kills, and I got more points than someone that got like 60, and I'm like, hey, a player with 60 kills, play the game better. You know what I mean? It's just it really is one of those games, or I'd argue franchises, where you can quote unquote do good, or to be more accurate, win.
Yeah.
Even without, like, I had shit kills, shit headshots. Oh, cool. Were you healing people? Great job. Fuck yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
no, great point. I love that.
So I think it's stuff like that, because there's so much because it's two things. Not only is there so much to do, but how much they reward you for doing it. That's what I think helps keep the longevity of Battlefield going. Because I would argue there are games that, there's other things to do, but you're not rewarded as much compared to like a Battlefield game.
True. That's very true.
So, for someone like Victor that's just constantly running around, fucking, just giving ammo for you, or like he picks a sniper class, not to snipe people, but to tag them.
Yeah.
Oh, and he'll get like top 10. He'll get top 10, which is by like, and he calls it out. He calls it out too. He's like, and spot assist. You know what I mean? So, So again, those are my things of why I am not as nervous for the longevity of Battlefield compared to what we're seeing with other multiplayer games now, like you mentioned, like Anthem, like Outriders, that have that weird sort of like unknown, not 100%, we can't really put the exact reason for it of why it dies out so fast.
Yeah.
Now, of course, content, things to do, like Anthem, that was a big factor. But again, like Battlefield, it's gameplay. Even if let's say there are less maps than we like, its gameplay and its potential, for just doing random shit to a point how would make up for that.
True. Very true. Very true. Well said. Anything else on the list? The rapid list? Or worth talking about, I should say.
Oh, I closed the window. I think knowing me, it would have been an IGN article. I'm gonna look this up on my Xbox. If you have an Xbox Series S or X, you can put your dashboard to the original.
Oh, sick.
The original Xbox dashboard.
Nice. That's dope.
Yeah, so,
super dope.
So I am definitely gonna look into that, because that was my area of gaming.
That's awesome. I know when it comes to on the PC side, when it comes to so what the hell's going on over there? There are some Valve announced like the Steam sales throughout next year, which is pretty crazy. So they have the date. They released the dates for that.
AKA the reigning joke of like, cool, I just bought 10 games. How many will you play in the next year? Yeah, maybe 2.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's the way of the road of when it comes to the Steam games there. So
hey, well, consoles, I'm telling you, man, console, or at least Xbox, is becoming like that real quick with this Game Pass. I was like, what just came on Game Pass?
Dude, yeah.
And download.
I need to re up my Game Pass, because it's out, but I'm just like, I should probably re up just because mad shit's gonna be coming out
with the holidays. Yeah, with Halo, with Halo, you can still play multiplayer together.
Yeah, that's very true.
Can't play.
Very true.
Campaign. No one can.
But yeah, I guess this is a pretty this has actually turned out a lot better than I thought. We're almost at an hour, but I mean, anything else maybe that you're looking forward to? I guess before we close out, I think we talked about decent stuff.
So something that got announced, a lot of people aren't happy about, and I can understand. We mentioned delay. During Elden Ring, we mentioned delays. A game I was looking forward to got delayed. Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 was due to come out in December, but now will not be coming out till February of next year.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, because like I've mentioned today in many episodes, my purchase or download games thing, I could say purchase, but now with Game Pass, download.
Yeah.
Thing is, again, based on release date. So with Battlefield and Halo coming out later in the year, and of course, and now as you mentioned, the Grand Theft Auto fucking remakes via San Andreas at least being on Game Pass, I'm happy that Dying Light 2 is now coming out to February.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Because Dying Light was a fun game, but I would argue with the plethora of heavy hitters coming out this holiday season, also in terms of release date, I think it was a smart move to back that release date off.
Because it probably would have been ignored, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been given the credit of that it's due, and I know they've had a really good track record of keeping people up to date on, you know, what they've made in the game, the progress that they've made, recently. So, yeah, I know while people are upset about the delays and whatnot, I mean, I think when it comes to just the older gamers, we're very much, you know, understandable in identifying that. So,
What?
I think Cheyenne wants to play Back for Blood.
Oh, sorry. Drell's on my PC. And I just got messaged to play Back for Blood.
But I guess we can close out of here, man. But yeah, I think we talked about a decent amount. Like I said, man, for the rest of this year, you know, really Battlefield is kind of the one that I'm excited for. So we'll see what happens. See what happens there. But
can I go on one quick tangent?
Oh yeah.
So and it's linked to what we talk about. I sent that meme to you because we were talking about how with the unfortunate like major AAA games failing, you know, with Cyberpunk, No Man's Sky, and Fallout 76 being the big three examples of that. How more and more the gaming community is looking towards demos over pre-orders or at least betas. And so I was laughing, you know, because that was the thing. Because when we grew up, that was the thing. Demos was the thing.
That was dude. I could talk about that for a while.
That was the thing, and
demos was everything. I wouldn't have been able to play at least 20% of the games that I played if there weren't demos, especially magazine subscriptions coming with demos.
Oh, Game Informer used to come with like special edition. Game Informers used to come with like demos in them. That was a big selling point for GameStop and GameStop as a membership. You got a yearly subscription to Game Informer. At the time, that was a big thing because it meant that whatever demo Game Informer had, you fucking got it.
Seriously. Tips and tricks. The PlayStation magazine used to come with demos. I remember that's how I played the demo for Metal Gear Solid, Two Sons of Liberty. Yeah, it's great.
I used to work at Hollywood Video. That's why I got a lot of those. And I just like, I like, so I mentioned, so we're so tying this into Battlefield real quick.
Yeah.
And I think almost every game we talked about today had a beta. Halo, Battlefield, Halo, Battlefield, of course.
True.
It's like the Thanos. It's like where'd I lead you? Back to me. We left demos in the dust for so long, and now they're coming back, and I'm happy for it because, like I mentioned, Battlefield. Even today, I'm not pre-ordering.
Yeah.
I'm still not over it. EA needs to learn a lesson. Hold out on the pre-orders, and not to sound wrong, but like I'm happy with it because now that because stats are hard because to a point you can only get stats of what's available to the public, but 9 times out of 10, these are like what companies are able to launch. What companies are able to release, or how many information from like a stockholders meeting or stockholders call gets released to the public is like maybe I would argue maybe because one of the criticism of the Battlefield beta, because I will argue, even though as fun as it was, the beta was.
There's a lot of criticism.
A lot of bugs.
Yeah, a lot of shit was fucked up.
There was a lot of bugs in the Battlefield beta, but a lot of people were saying to sum up the beta, really buggy, but still really fun. So it's I would argue so yes, there was a beta that was not perfect, but I'd argue if EA is seeing a decrease in pre-orders, and is that one of the contributing motivators to have this 10-hour playtime thing? Because EA is not known for that.
Yeah,
that's true. Of all publishers, to have to say that in 2021, an EA game is going to have a 10-hour play trial preview thing, that is not common for EA at all.
Yeah, very true.
So
I would like to see more of this.
More betas, more demos.
Yeah, I would like to see more of this. I think this is great, and especially with how a lot of these games that have come out have been disappointing, or people being very skeptical. Rightfully so, especially with the cost of games, and then also just with Game Pass and whatnot. It absolutely makes sense for demos to be around. So
because even there's another example on the flip side. Now like we said, Outriders kind of lackluster in the late game the late game content. But like we mentioned, it was because of the demo that made me go from what's this to I'm buying it now.
Yeah.
Remember that I played the demo once. I played the Outriders demo once, and then Stargate's a great game. I don't regret my purchase, though. Again, like the criticism that we mentioned, there were some late game things that could have added more. The loot drop rate wasn't as great, but again, it's because of that demo. I went completely from Outriders to like to holy shit, I finished the demo, I'm buying it right now.
Right, exactly. All warranted, sir, all warranted. And that's going to wrap it up here for the Gamers for Life podcast Rapid Fire Edition, because just a bunch of little things that came out, not a whole lot of big stuff. But I think we did a great job, Arthur, on leading the pack there on some of those stories.
Oh, cool.
And like I said, be sure to like and subscribe here on the show. We definitely would appreciate that. We have an audio video podcast typically every Saturday, unless there's a bye week. Which happens every now and again, but fuck it, life is life. But be sure to follow, subscribe. We definitely appreciate it. Here on the Gamers for Life podcast, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell, with my co-host Arthur Thomas.
Me.
All right, guys, thanks so much. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.